Hey, listen up. We got another episode of Wise Kracks, featuring the crack man himself, Bill Krackomberger, and our co-host, John Orlando, straight from Las Vegas. Wise Kracks is your ticket inside the world of sports betting, with tips, picks, special guests, and more. Only on WSN.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Wise Kracks. I'm John Orlando, and always I have the crack man, Mr. Bill Krackomberger, with me. How you doing, Bill?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, and, good to see
finally
you.
Warming up a little. That can only mean baseball in the air and March Madness at the end of college basketball season. And I like the warm weather. I'm a warm weather guy, so I hate cold weather. Even though I travel back east all the time, I'm happy to. You know, it was like 68 degrees in Philly yesterday. So cool.
That's funny you say that. I'm definitely a warm weather guy, but I was going to say when it gets when it gets around 70 even, I'm like, whoa, let's grab a jacket, 70s too warm for these California breads like myself,
California guys.
Yeah, I need 80 to 85 is my sweet spot. But
that's ideal.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of baseball in the air, we've got an incredible show today. We've got World Series champion Josh Reddick with us today, and he's currently a free agent. So we're going to talk to him about what that's like a little later in the show, and maybe talk about the new rules, for spring training and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Great guest. And John gets all these great baseball guys on here. I'm hoping he can get someone he knows, like Pete Rose, to come on here. That would be great.
Crack, I want you to know, all these guests I get, I don't get them on Action Junkies. I can't get them on Action Junkies. I get them, I drop your name and they go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do the show. When I say, hey, do you want to come on Action Junkies? They're busy. But when I say, hey, I co-host a show with Bill Krackomberger, they go, oh, I know who that is. Yeah, I'm in. Send me the link. So there you go, Bill.
Awesome. Love it. Love it.
Bill, there's a lot to cover today, and there's the biggest headline. There's a lot of them, but the biggest headline involves my former favorite football team that I just might have to go back to now because Dak Prescott, even with that awful injury that he suffered last season, just signed a big 4-year, $160 million contract, and I believe 120 million is guaranteed. This is a massive contract in football. What do you think about that?
I read that. I was like, wow, this guy's getting, let's say it may not be the length of the contract, but this is like Mahomes money per year.
Yeah.
So, I think Mahomes got 450 million, 10 years or something. Same thing though, had a big percentage of his contract guaranteed. And I think I read the same thing. I read like 128 million guaranteed. Yeah. I'll tell you, this is a little more riskier than signing someone like Mahomes. After that big injury last year, we all felt terrible. That poor kid carted off the field. It couldn't help but bring a tear to your eye watching it. But this is a giant contract, and I hope it works out for them guys.
I think it says a lot about the Cowboys organization. I'm actually kind of surprised because, I know the business of sports, it's kind of almost what the theme of this show is going to be today is the business of sports, right? I mean, we're going to talk to Josh Reddick a little later, and with this signing for Dak, I wouldn't think that the Cowboys would have taken such a risk, and he kind of held out prior to that injury, on signing a quick deal with them. And everyone thought when he got injured, oh, wow, that strategy backfired. But the Cowboys actually took care of him.
Yeah, they really did. You thought it was almost, like you said, you thought it was almost like not the end of his career, but when you see an injury like that and get carried off the field, you almost think, wow, this kid didn't really get the giant money yet. And it's good to see Jones do this. And like I said, I'm not really a fan of any one team, and my brother was always a giant Cowboys fan. So automatically I picked the Pittsburgh Steel Curtain just because I wanted to go against my brother. So,
right.
But yeah, good for the organization. Hopefully it's definitely good for Dak.
Yeah, it's definitely great for Dak. He's everyone in the Prescott family is very, very happy, all smiles this week for sure. Spring baseball, baseball is my favorite sport, and I have to be honest, I've seen maybe one inning of one spring training game this year. I haven't watched a game, and I couldn't even tell you why.
Yeah, even though it's my favorite sport too, I haven't watched a single inning of a game this year. Though I did bet some money on a game tonight, and because we're on tape recording, there's no reason to say it, but I seen a team plus 185, and I just don't know if anyone's plus 185 in preseason. So primarily I like to bet dogs anyway. You can't make money laying 185 betting favorites, but you could definitely make money shopping for lines and taking dogs. And not only is it my favorite sport that I actually go to see and love to spend a weekend up, like I said before, in San Diego, going to Petco, watching all the teams come in like the Yanks and stuff, which I have over the years. But this particular sport is a sport that I love betting. It's a money line sport. 85% of the betting is done on money lines on either team. So I do like taking those dogs, and I can feel it in the air. I look forward to it. Capping the game again, and this is a different season. Don't forget last year we had all these changes, so we're gonna talk about some of these changes with Mr. Reddick, and there's some rules that are different. The extra inning rule, which is really the biggest rule, it's man starting on second base. The doubleheader rule, only 7 innings. So there's some different rules here, and the pitchers. Going to minimum of 3 batters, of a reliever coming in. Of course, a starter. That always happens anyway. But so this will be a different year, though. Hopefully this will be a good one for me and the Crack Wins team.
Yeah, for sure. And you brought up something I'd love to touch on a little more, which was the underdogs. There's no to say. I don't know if there's a plus 185 in spring training. I don't think there could be a truer statement than that. You never know who's going to play how many. Sometimes they do announce how many, innings or pitches a pitcher is going to throw, but you still don't know. You don't know what starters are coming in, coming out. It seems crazy. Like how could you not take the dog?
Yeah. They say what's going to, they try to tell you a little bit about who's going to play in the press, in the media, following even the local press. Or really, even though a team like, let's say, the New York Mets, they play down in Florida. I think they play in Port St. Lucie, but a lot of the teams play in Florida and Arizona, wherever it may be. The beat reporters for like the New York papers still follow the New York Mets. So just I like to follow their stuff and what they say about the teams and what they get in some, maybe not so much pre-game press tournaments. I'm sorry, concert. Interviews. Yeah. But more of the night before, maybe talking to the manager, or maybe looking at the social medias, looking at the different feeds. So there's little nuggets of information that could be valuable here. Me and my team are just starting to get into this now. So going back to what the reason why I'm talking about this is, you agree. It's great. I don't know if there's any 2-1 favorites. I mean, listen, the Dodgers are 2-1 favorite every night. I look at last night, they were winning 4-0. All of a sudden it was 4-3 because they're experimenting with some backups and bullpens. And you can't be 2-1, even though they did hang on to win the game 4-3. Anyway.
Yeah. Let me ask you this one more thing on baseball, and then we'll move on. What are your thoughts on the taking a team minus 1.5 runs? Is that anything you ever do?
I'm not a run line guy. Okay. I really don't. Very rare will I bet run lines. But put your mindset in Joe Public. Man, the Dodgers 250. I can't lay that. Yeah, let me lay the 1.5 minus $1.20 or something. It's you only lay $1.20. It's a run and a half, but not realizing how valuable that run and a half is. If anything, I probably lean to taking the 1.5 runs more than laying the 1.5.
I have 3 words for you, Crack. Guilty as charged. I give away that minus 1.5 all the time for the exact reason you just said. With the exact team with the Dodgers, I can't do minus 250. So much easier. I'll take it.
And they're such a good team. You may be up money doing that, but long term, I don't know, man. I don't know if you can make money laying a 1.5 on big favorites like that.
Yeah. Last weekend, there was a monster UFC card, 3 title fights. And I came so close. Well, I shouldn't say that. I got lucky, and then I had one incredible pick. If I start with the main event, I predicted that Adesanya would lose going up a weight class, which he did. I thought he was going to get finished, but the fight ended up going the distance. And then on the first fight on my parlay, another title fight with Aljamain Sterling, I got very lucky. He was losing the fight, and his opponent, while Aljamain was down, the rules in the UFC is if you have a knee down on the canvas, you cannot hit that person in the head, not with a punch, not with a kick. Or I'm sorry, you can with a punch, but not a kick. I'm sorry. And his opponent kneed him while he was down, and he ended up getting disqualified. So I won that leg of the parlay by disqualification. So that was my first leg of the parlay. And then the middle leg was the girl fight, Megan Anderson against Amanda Nunes. Amanda is arguably the GOAT, possibly for men and women, just all-time best. I mean, you could certainly make a case. And I got sucked into that plus 700 fantasy that Anderson could beat her, and that didn't work out well.
No, I know that was a giant card. I actually did a video for one of the sports books that I'm a spokesman for, and we talked about all 3 of those fights and different ways to bet. Someone like Nunes, she was like 12-1 favorite, and you can't lay 12-1 on anyone in the UFC when just a headbutt or anything could stop a fight, or just that, like you said, that knee to when the guy has his down, he knees him in the head. Yeah. Just a spontaneous kick or a knee, not even thinking that's illegal. And here you got a giant favorite that's going to lose because they're disqualified. Yeah. I'm not having part of that. So, and maybe, like I said, even though Nunes knocks out a lot of her opponents, and I said, she was still a good ground game fighter, and it was good by submission. You could take like 2-1. So that was a nice little victory for someone rather than having to lay 12-1. So,
the NCAA tourney is here. And normally in Vegas, this is a time where this city is just buzzing with anticipation and crowded, and clubs are crowded and the pools are open. And obviously March Madness got canceled last year, and it changed everything. What are your thoughts on the tourney being here this year?
Hey, it's funny. Last year I was on a nationwide Sirius radio program around this week, and the conference tournaments games started getting canceled. The conference tournaments are canceled. Matter of fact, I had a bet on St. John's and the Big East. They started the game. They went into the half. They canceled the game at halftime. The rest of all the conference tournaments were canceled. And that's when I realized, wow, this COVID-19 thing is a little more serious than I thought. But then, even then, I probably said, well, March Madness is next week. They're going to have those games at least. And not even thinking that the big dance is also going to be canceled. And it was really a depressing time for not only these poor kids that were, looking forward to their final games and their senior year, but it was depressing to all the fans, to the people at home. And of course, just the whole pandemic thing was depressing. It really was a bad time. So it's such a fresh feeling, even though I know it's going to be limited fans or limited things this year, and ticket sales are going to be definitely down, and maybe even endorsements or whatever it may be. That stuff that really don't bother me, but it's still back for us. Every game is broadcast on TV, every single game. So I know March Madness is not your thing, John. You're not really into March Madness, like we said during the break. But for most people, this is a real big thing. And listen, there's giant money in this March Madness thing. Trust me. People just mistakenly think that the Super Bowl is the biggest betting thing of the year. Let me tell you something. The volume on that Thursday opening round of March Madness is bigger than the Super Bowl.
Really?
I mean, of course, there's a lot more games.
Right.
It's giant. It's giant.
Wow, that's incredible. And you're right. It was very depressing. Like I was legit depressed last year when these events were getting canceled and there was so much uncertainty. We'd never lived through anything like that before. And it was really scary in the beginning.
Yeah, it was scary for everyone. People were staying in, just staring at the four walls. Some people still are until they get their shots or whatever. And, I'm out there a little bit. I have to travel a little bit. So I'm not one that's even the whole just think about you and me, John. We went to New Jersey and Arizona over the last few months.
Yeah.
So we're fun. Being safe. I wear a double mask. I wear the shield on the plane. I've been sanitizing planes and seat belt buckles and the back seats and the headrest. I've been doing that for 15 years.
Right.
So everyone's just catching up to me. That's now awesome. They don't look at me like I'm crazy, like they used to look at me. So
right.
But yeah, like I said, this is going to be giant for me. Plenty of good betting opportunities. I love betting first and second round of March Madness. I'll have a dozen bets on the first round alone. Historically, like I said, I've done really well in the first round of betting the dance. And just to tell you, one of the reasons is I like betting first half underdogs, not just like vanilla blanketing the whole game, all the games, but I like betting on those because it's a pure game. There's no garbage fouls. It's a pure number. A lot of these players get so pumped up to get out there, especially the little name teams against these big giant teams. They'll come out there so pumped up in the first half until obviously the class of the teams kind of even off, and of course then the 20-point team usually wins, unless you're a Virginia squad. And we had Maryland, Baltimore County as like a 22-point underdog a couple of years ago, beat them outright. So it could happen. But anyway, the underdog, it's the marquee team. You get the marquee teams that are playing the smaller teams, and basically that's where I find the value. And not only do I find the value there, you just think about it. Again, put yourself in that public mindset. No one's traveling to Vegas or traveling to the casino, to bet against Gonzaga in the first half. There'll be a lot more people betting Gonzaga first half than there will betting the underdog. So, I look forward to that next week. I look forward to this Selection Sunday this weekend. People love seeing the seeds, and there's always people yelling and arguing. They should be there. They should be there. So anyway, it should be fun.
You're like a shark in the water during this time, aren't you? I can see your excitement. I love it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's I always say throughout the year, I don't really watch a lot of games throughout the year, especially a college basketball game. Listen, I won't even watch an NBA game. You can't pay me to watch them. But because I really don't bet a lot of NBA sides. I'll bet some totals, but you can't pay me to watch it because it comes down to the last minute anyway. You could just turn the team on, and it's just like 2 hours of your life was wasted. Just turn the game on. That's my gripe with
basketball. That's why I don't like watching basketball. It just comes down to that 1 minute.
It's amazing. A team will jump out by 10, 14 points. And the game will always return to the number.
Right.
Where at the end, it's going to determine it. Not always, but most of the time. So,
it's an unnecessary roller coaster you're riding when you watch basketball for me. I just can't do it, especially if you're betting on the game,
because we're not going to be on until next week. I want to give this little bit of I don't know if you want to call it a warning or anything. I always tell guys, just remember, it's an old saying, bet with your head, not over it. Yeah, don't get caught up in all the hype and the craziness of March Madness and drinking and partying that leads you to such bad decision making. Try to stay away from futures too. I know you love betting the futures, guys. You'd love to bet the teams to win the whole thing. That just remember, I know I'm a broken record. That particular type of betting, future betting, is like a 25 to 50% markup rather than just betting straight games, which has about a 4.5% advantage against you. So unless you have a lot of sports books, I'll bet some futures, but I'm dealing with 10, 20 different sports books. I'm looking at futures lines. So Like I said, there's 4 channels showing all the games. So I know it's crazy. You want to watch every game. You want to bet every game, but you don't need a bet on every game just because it's on TV. I'm telling you, you'll be broke by St. Patty's Day. Betting these things. So
words of wisdom to follow from the Crack Man. That's always one of my favorite things that you say, is that you don't have to bet. And I think reminding everyone of that, myself included, it really is solid, sound advice. It seems so basic, but it's so true. You get so caught up in the action, right? In the chase of the action. We forget, like, it's okay to lay off. It's okay to lay off. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, I want to remind all the sports fans and degen gamblers alike that every week, as I always tell you, don't forget to hit up WSN.com if you're losing money. Seriously, this is the site for guys like Bill, even guys like me who love the action. They've got the promos, the bonuses, all the great strategy guides, info on the different state betting laws. Head over to WSN.com. Bill, I know you've got some things to say about WSN.com all the time.
Oh, like I always say, it's a gold mine for everything sports betting wise and bonus wise, promo wise. I'm looking at their site right now and the articles on what's going on, the states with the bonuses. Like I talk about, there's bonuses on here that you can't get any other website or app or anything. So make sure you check out WSN.com. It's really a good place to go for a plethora of things.
Yes, and for the winning parlay, as we like to call it, after you're done doing that, definitely head over either to crackwins.com, or if you want to download the app, it's available on Apple or Google Play. This is, as I call it, it's part of the sports betting Bible, right? I mean, Crack is college and pro basketball. He's PGA. He's football when that comes back. Baseball's getting underway. The Crack Wins app is the only service that provides consistent long-term winning across all those sports that I just mentioned. And he's got the best information and the closing line value available. And that's something I've learned a lot about you, hanging out with you over the last few months now, like I have, is the line shopping. Never realized how important that was until I saw it firsthand sitting with you in a sports book. And all of that is information that's in the Crack Wins app. So check it out today, guys.
Yeah, John, the conference tournaments are underway. Great time to join Crack Wins. March Madness, second half of NBA, golf. Boy, big week this week in golf. People love to bet these big majors, or even like the players here. And we have some good stuff here for this weekend. Look forward to the March Madness postseason tournaments. I'm really excited about. We have a great free March Madness bracket tournament on Crack Wins. People log on to bracket.crackwins.com, free to enter. We got prizes. We're having premium memberships, and we're paying all the way down to 20th place. So we're giving away a lot of prizes. It should be a lot of fun.
I might have to jump in on that one just to see if I can finally enjoy college basketball. Maybe that's the problem, is that I'm not putting any action down, which makes it unwatchable for me. So maybe I'll check that out. All right, Crack, I couldn't be more pumped about this one. Today, we're joined by a World Series champion. He was drafted by the Red Sox. He played for the Oakland A's. He joined my wonderful Dodgers for a little brief stint. And, of course, he won a World Series with the Astros. He's currently a free agent, which makes me furious. So we're going to get into that in a moment. But, by the time this is done taping, he might not even be a free agent anymore. So who knows? He's a Gold Glove winner. And, of course, his biggest accomplishment is being a father to twin boys. I speak of the great Josh Reddick is on the show today. What's up, Josh?
Johnny, how are we doing today, man? Craig, nice to meet you, brother. Johnny, good to see you again.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, you too, man. You too. So let's just get right into it. I am baffled by this one, Josh. Two of my favorite players are currently free agents, and it makes me crazy. One is Yasiel Puig, and the other one is you, my friend. How are you not on a team right now is mind-boggling to me.
Well, we can go into pretty good depth with that one right now. I'm just as furious as you are about this whole situation. But, this whole pandemic going back from last year it's screwed everything up, from, players making the right moves and getting their money, and owners not doing the necessary things that they need to do to get guys into camp to spend money, so to speak. They're claiming that they don't have any money to spend, and for the people that know how this business works, that may not be the case. But just a lot of teams aren't really trying to win, and it's just really hurting guys like myself in that regard. And you look at like a guy like me and a Nick Markakis, who's still out there as well, who have been a part of some very good teams and winning ball clubs, and here we are sitting at home having to hit in the batting cage and watch spring training happen. So it's very frustrating and infuriating at the same time.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, the amount of postseason experience that you have playing in both leagues is crazy. It's hard to come by like that. And, I've heard some rumors, maybe back to Houston or maybe Detroit, where AJ Hinch is. Is there any, could you tell us anything or any hints or?
I have nothing. If I had hints and rumors, I'd be jumping all over them right now. But, it just seems as soon as something comes off the table, it jumps right back off of it. So it's kind of a waiting game right now to see how, some younger teams that are trying to win have their young guys trying to produce and make a ball club. And just kind of on close watching those guys, see what they're doing. And, until then, I got a brand new batting cage in my backyard that I've been hitting in every day. And luckily I have a little weight room and a gym that I can get all my stuff done here right at home. So I don't have to leave anywhere anytime during the day, which is great because of what's going on with COVID and just being able to get everything done in the 2.5 hour nap period that my boys have.
It's funny you just mentioned the weight room, because when you sat down before we started rolling, first thing I thought was, wow, he's looking like you've been hitting the weights. You look strong, Josh.
I wish my wife noticed that more often. She don't give me any compliments about that. But yeah, I appreciate that. No, it's actually pretty funny because, one thing that happened when this whole, I guess, process, you want to call it, started of where we didn't know what was going to happen. My agents preached to me about getting strong because of all these people that watch the game nowadays. It's all about the home runs. Nobody cares about strikeouts anymore. Nobody cares about high batting average. It's all about your OBP plus your slugging and how many runs you're driving in. So over my course of my career, I've kind of jumped that. And early in my career in Oakland, I was that guy. I struck out 150 times. I hit 30 home runs. I drove in runs. And then, I flipped my script later on in my career to where it would be a higher average and the lower strikeout rate because that was what everybody wanted. And now we're flipping that script right back to, higher batting average don't mean anymore. And it's frustrating because I've switched my game so much to adapt. And now here I am trying to bulk up again and try to get to where I can hit the ball 420 feet on an average daily basis and hopefully, get back to where I was, gosh, almost 10 years ago. That feels like forever ago.
Yeah. Crack, I realized I'm fanboying out over here, even though he's my friend. I should probably let you ask some questions, huh?
No, it's fine.
No, Crack, I'm sorry.
Well, first, Josh asked off air, can I call you Bill? So last name being Krackenberger, everyone's called me Crack over the years. But I'm the furthest from that job. I don't even drink, never mind ever do a drug in my life, just to let you know. Totally square. But no, I am a baseball fan more than any other sport. I won't go to an NBA game. I said it last week. I get courtside seats for games. I won't even go. I don't go to any football games, basketball games. Baseball, I love. I grew up, Bronx, Yankees, Mets. Even if going to Philly games, I love baseball. And we played baseball, minor league, little league, everything. So fundamentally speaking, what you just said to me kind of saddens me. Here you have a guy. Oh, by the way, I looked at all your stats last night. Every year, you have a guy that's done so good in his career. And I even said to John, I said, wait a minute. How could he not be signed? And now that I'm hearing that you're trying to bulk up to maybe get some home runs or make it look good for the fans, but fundamentally, I look at your batting average. I look at your everything, all your stats. God, that bothers me. And I just wanted to let you know, for everyone like me, it's a purist. We want you to get signed right away. So good luck with that. And I'm sure you're going to get signed.
I appreciate it. And now it seems the thing nowadays in the game where you have your superstars who are good across the board at everything. You look at a guy like my buddy Springer, who's, he's fast, he's got a good arm, it's for power, does everything. And then you go down to say the next tier level, which kind of I consider myself to be, who's good at a lot of things in baseball, great at some, not so great at others. And that seems to be where they get overlooked nowadays is we want somebody who's really, really good at this. And then, okay, we don't give a crap if you can go catch a fly ball in the gap and save 2 runs anymore, as long as you can hit the home run out of the ballpark. And that's crazy because I've always valued myself on defense. I'm going to just throw that in there.
There it is. The Golden Glove.
Oh,
there
wow.
it is.
So
beautiful.
And that seems to be, irrelevant now, if I can use my own nickname. It's crazy how much this game has changed. And going back to your other sports, I'm with you on that, Crack. I could care less about NFL games. I've only been to one. I'm a big college guy. Go Dogs, Georgia, love them, as everybody knows in baseball. Basketball is pretty cool though. When I was when I was in Oakland, that was during the Golden State run when they were really, really good. And I think it was the off season of 15. I bought courtside tickets to the last game of the year, and they were playing the Bucks. Well, it just so happened, that last game of the year was their 73rd win and an NBA record. So I got to sit courtside for the Warriors' record-winning season game. And it was great because I think I paid $6,000 total for them, and I could have sold them for $17,000 each the night before the game.
Wow!
But I wanted to be a part of history, and I was, and it was great because I got put on the jumbotron, and it was a good time because everybody was just there, and it was a fan favorite kind of thing. And I thought it was really cool because guys, I've known I knew Steph and Klay Thompson, and me and Harrison Barnes. We're really good buddies. We'd done some stuff together to kind of help out the fans. So it was cool to have those guys come up and say hello on the court.
Awesome. Let me ask you something about the new rules. We'll ask what you think, what your opinion is. The 3-batter minimum for the pitchers, and it's more for the relievers. You have to have 3 batters to face. Double headers, 7 innings. I think that's what it is. Has to be 2 7-inning games. Also, each offense will get a runner to start the second. The extra innings.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that stuff? Is that stuff that doesn't matter to you, or you think it's kind of corny? Or
I'm all for everything but the runner at second base and extras. I think the 3-hitter rule is great advantage for a guy like me, because if I could be hitting behind a righty and I have a righty behind me and they want to bring that righty in to face those 2 guys, well, it helps me out because I get that righty over lefty. Not that I'm afraid to hit lefties, because I've always hit lefties very well in my career, despite what every analyst and computer says that I can't hit lefties. That's bullshit. I can hit lefties all day long. And then you go back to the double letters, I think are huge because from experience, I was always the guy in Oakland and even early on in Houston where I was always the guy that had to play both innings, both games, all 9 innings in the outfield. No DH, just, hey, Red, you're going to play both of them. And that's fine. I want to play this game until I can't anymore. And I'll be out there. I'll grind my ass off for you as long as I can and give you my best effort while doing it. But I think the runner at second is such a bush league, kind of little league kind of thing. I mean, we're in the big leagues. This is no way in hell we should be having a runner at second, because you're not necessarily speeding up the game. You're just making it a little bit easier to score that run for both sides. Because if you think about it, if you're smart, National League, you're going to bunt him and then you're going to get him over with a sac fly. And everybody's going to do that. And in the American League, usually you're going to hit a double and then you're going to hit another double. And then all of a sudden each team's scoring 2 or 3 runs, as opposed to hitting that leadoff double and having to produce a little bit more. So I'm totally against the speeding up the game crap. I think the pitch clock and the time clock are a complete joke.
Yeah.
But, the people who watch this game and thoroughly enjoy this game aren't here to speed it up. They're here to see everything, and they're here to enjoy it, and they're there to, drink beer, eat a hot dog, and watch a damn baseball game, no matter how long it takes.
Right. The game wasn't broken. There was no reason to fix it. It wasn't broken. Nothing was broken.
You wanted to tell me you want to get in and out of that game quick. If you want to go say, all right, let's go to Johnny O's Dodgers for a second. Really good baseball team. Won it all last year, and they're projected to do a lot of good things. Why wouldn't you want to sit there and stay there and watch all those guys? Because, they have a really special team and a lot of special guys to watch play. And a lot of teams have those superstars. And then you go a little farther south and look at what the Padres are doing. I mean, I think Padres and Dodgers are the 2 most must-see baseball teams in the game right now. And when they play each other, 18, 19 times a year, I'm watching every damn inning.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it.
Josh, let me ask you this. Is there a team, now being a free agent right now, is there a team that you sit there and go, what are they doing? Why aren't they calling me? What team would that be?
There's a lot. There's plenty of teams. I mean, you look at all these teams that aren't really trying and who are going the young route can always use that veteran guy in the clubhouse, whether he's playing three times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week. There's always that presence in the clubhouse where kids can come up and say, hey, Red, what do you think of this? Should I be doing this? Do I need to go do that? And there's just some people that need to have their brains picked. And then I think that a lot of guys can benefit from that. And not even just your young guys, but, George and me and Brantley still speak every day on a daily basis, whether it's joking around or if it's about hitting or anything else. We always stayed in really good contact about stuff like that. And this is a guy, Brantley's got 10 years of service. George is pushing on 7 or 8 now. So there's always guys that can learn from you, not just the rookies, but, even the older guys can learn from it. And I think there's plenty of teams, but we can go to Seattle. They're still in that process of rebuilding and doing their thing. And then you look at guys, the Rockies, I think are a good fit. The Orioles are a good fit. Miami Marlins are a really good baseball team, and they proved that last year, but they still have yet to have that veteran guy come in. The Royals, they don't really have a big older guy, but there's a lot of teams I could go down the list that may or may not need that guy in there. And on top of that, the left-handed bat, it's just one of those things where
right, they're
just going to run those guys out there because they're only making $550,000 this year as opposed to paying old Josh Reddick, $2 million to come out there and be a platoon guy and help those guys learn. And it's,
And by the way, old Josh Reddick is only 33, 34. This is crazy. You're still in your prime, man. You're still in your prime.
I'm still kind of hanging on to the back end of my prime here. In baseball years, I'm getting up there, but in life, I'm still spry. Still got a lot of life left.
You look spry.
Oh, yeah. You do.
If I shaved, it'd look even better, but I'm not shaving. Screw that. That's too much effort, but.
I mean, he plays solid defense, Crack. He'll sacrifice his body into the wall. He makes diving catches. He throws guys out. He's hard to strike out. They love him in the clubhouse. It's just mind blowing to me. I sent him when I slid into the DM yesterday on Instagram. I said, dude, I'm furious that you're a free agent. He writes back, I'm furious I'm a free agent.
I'm pissed.
John, you say that. My brother owned baseball card store when he was younger. Baseball card stores, big collector, giant Houston Astro fan. And he is so excited that I have Mr. Reddick, as he calls him, on the show. So a shout out from my brother, Steve, Josh. He just loves you. So
how you doing, Steve?
And I really appreciate it. And love that bandana, man. As every day I wake up, I'm so proud to be an American. I'm so proud to be in this country and proud to be I am. God bless you for wearing that.
I got something else for you that I take a lot of pride in. So this stays in my office.
Absolutely, brother. I salute that flag every single day. Absolutely right. God bless America.
We're going to let that play right there. Absolutely.
Good man.
I love it. Josh, let me ask you this. You've been a vet for a while in the league. You've faced probably every incredible pitcher over the last 10 to 13 years, whatever it's been. And you've been teammates with absolutely 2 first-time ballot Hall of Famers with Verlander and Kershaw. I'm curious, what do you think sets those guys apart? And obviously they have great arms, but what can you tell us having faced both of them? Speak on that for a little bit.
Well, obviously I think talent and skill bring a lot into that, but the prep work they do in between those starts from what I've seen is pretty spectacular. And there's still a lot that I don't see personally. Man, that thing's going on forever. I don't see a lot of things personally, so I can just imagine what they're doing. But I've noticed, watching Verlander, like I said, I didn't get Kershaw a whole lot, but what they do in the video room, I think speaks volumes for what they put out there on the field. Because yes, they can go out there and probably win a Cy Young just by going out there and throwing the crap out of the ball and not doing any, over analyzing and looking at other guys. But they really do spend a lot of times looking at hitters' weaknesses, what they do and where they don't hit the ball with strength and authority. And what they do when they go into the bullpen, they're actually not just going there to throw, to get their work in. Y'all still hear me? Sorry, my headphones just – my headphones. but they do a lot of stuff on that field in between their starts that makes them, I think, a little bit better than the rest. And what they do on their game day, it's pretty funny to watch, because those are guys that as soon as they get there, their headphones are on, and as soon as they're ready to go out, that's the only time they take those headphones off. They're in there from 1 o'clock till about 6:30. Headphones are on all day. Don't talk to me. Don't bother me.
Wow.
Leave me alone so I can get my prep work done.
Wow.
That's amazing. All that prep goes into that. We don't see that at home. So thanks for telling us that. That's amazing.
It's some pretty intense stuff, the things that they do. And it's gotten, I don't want to say worse, but it's gotten 10 times more. I don't know. I guess worse, 10 times worse of how much they really do, because BS analytics, I'll say it, BS analytics are taking over this game.
Yeah.
And computer, we might as well let robots play this game, because computers are taking over this game. And that's part of the reason why a lot of us don't have jobs still, because a computer tells us that we're not good enough to be put on a baseball team, or that certain team, so to speak.
It's so crazy, and I couldn't agree more with you, because I think it was the downfall of the Dodgers for many years, as to why they kept coming close but couldn't win the big game. They're so matchup crazy, and all the teams are. It's matchup crazy. There's they don't take into account the possibility of guys stepping up big. It's that it factor. There are some guys that are just gamers. You're one of those players in the big game. Go.
You win with your guys. I think that the old saying is you dance with who brung you. I think that plays a huge role whenever you get to the playoffs, because you play 162 games and 140 of them, your starting lineup is your horses. It's your guys, 1 to 9. That's your guys every time. And then you get into the playoffs and it's like, oh, we got Blake Snell coming in. Okay, well, we got to sit Reddick. We've got to sit our other lefty. But we got to get on our righty, who's faced Blake Snell 2 times in the last 4 years and doesn't have a clue because he stands on the other side of the batter's box. And I think that's a joke, because it doesn't matter if Josh Reddick goes out there and goes 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 off Blake Snell. That one at bat that he had against him could have rattled him to where the guy behind him was successful and helped out the team.
Right.
Excellent. Right. Josh, we talked about that a couple weeks ago, right, John? We talked about the analytics, the Moneyball scenario, how it's overdone now, the human element part of it, the crafty veteran part when under pressure during the playoffs or a World Series. Analytics doesn't take that into consideration. There's that human element part, just like Josh says. So glad that we had him on here just to talk about that, to kind of solidify what we said exactly about the Snell situation there. Perfect. Exactly.
5 years ago, a player like me would have gotten paid 3 years and $30 million just for my winning record, regardless of my stats.
100%.
This guy's been in the postseason 9 out of the last 10 years. He's probably, I think I am the only active player with the most postseason at bats in the last 10 years.
Wow.
I think I do hold that. That doesn't speak anything anymore. And, being that leader in the clubhouse would have gotten me paid on all of those attributes, regardless of how good or how bad of a player I was. And here I am. I can't even get a job for $580,000.
Wow. And we talked about that ahead of time, John, about how he is a leader in the clubhouse. Yeah. That means so much. That fundamentals again, that putting the team together, everyone grasping bonds together. There's a price on that. I don't 100%. Care what these analytics guys say or media or press. There is a price on that, Josh. You're so right, man.
100%.
Yeah. And it's funny. You just mentioned, it's like people say, oh, he's got enough money. What does he care? Whatever. You love to play. You're a baseball player. This is what you do.
I'm not here just to make money. I'm here to play baseball and get paid well doing it. Is just a bonus. I want to play till this body says, okay, Josh, that's enough. And it ain't ready. It's nowhere near ready for that yet.
Right.
So if I have to keep working my ass off here to, get into camp late or go to see the alternate site for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's not the ideal picture. If I got to go there and then maybe, AAA for a week or two before I get caught up, then that's what I have to do. I want to play this game regardless, because I have, 2 young boys who
I want to make the most money for as possible too, so they don't have to do shit growing up or getting older. And I want to make even more money to where their kids don't have to do shit. And I can sit here as a grandpa and go, there you go, buddy, go do this, go do that. So I've got a lot of game left in me.
Good for you, man. This was a pleasure. This was great,
man.
John.
Thank you so much for stopping by Wise Kracks and talking to us today. And I'm pretty confident that phone's going to ring. I mean, come on, GMs. I don't know what's going on. Where's my buddy Neil Liebman from the Rangers right now? I'm going to text Neil Liebman the second we get off this and go, hey, what are you doing? Call Josh Reddick, for God's sake. Neil.
Hit him up. Tell him Gallo needs a few days off at DH.
I'm actually going to say that. I'm going to send him that. Well, listen, Josh, thank you so much for coming on the show. It really means a lot to me. You've always been so good to me over the years. I don't see you in person enough, but every time I'm watching a game, I always tag you. You know I'm always rooting for you. And thank you so much. This meant a lot to me today.
Yeah, thanks
guys. A lot. Thank you, Josh.
Next time you go to that casino, because I know you and the wife love to, throw 100 on 22 black for me on that roulette table.
You got it. Wow. That's a deal. This weekend. Okay.
I want an Instagram live to see the reaction.
You got it. Wow, Crack, that was amazing. That was really almost like just a candid conversation. We're not even on camera kind of feel to it. And we're talking to Josh Reddick about, really getting a glimpse at what it's like. People are so quick to judge, these all pro athletes and just, they make so much money, and you forget that they're human. And you just heard from a guy that he wants to play baseball. He's a baseball player. That's what he does.
Guy's a good guy. Like he said, he just wants to pay. And of course, what come with that, what's come with that is money. That's what comes with it. So I really enjoyed listening to him, and he's a really nice guy. You could tell. So thanks for bringing him on.
Yeah, man. And how about the shout out to your brother? You got a little shout out. Your brother got a shout out.
I love that. He's going to love that.
That's awesome.
Great.
Well, listen, man, another week has come and gone, and another show is about to come and go. But before we do go, I want to remind everybody, if you haven't downloaded the Crack Wins app, now is the time to do so. You got March Madness on the horizon, and Crack is going to light March Madness up this year. How's that for too much? Is it too much?
I always say it. I always say it's a good parlay. The Crack Wins app, Crack Wins, and .com, and of course WSN.com, which has a great free March Madness Pick'em contest coming up. It's 100% free to play. Your chance to win up to $5,800. So go to WSN.com. You'll see right there. You can click on there. All the excitement. Where else can you win $5,800 for nothing? Having fun, and again, it's free. WSN.com.
Yeah, I might head over and take a shot at this one, Crack. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I can win. I can't win.
Good job, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. We'll see you next week.